good evening to you. It's June the 22nd, 2018, and of course the Super Eagles are out there in Russia. We'll be talking about that. Welcome to Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Oshomole emerges consensus candidate for APC national chair. DSS arrest Boko Haram ISWA kingpins in Abuja. And later on, we'll share this with you. Ebonyi government rejects federal government's cattle ranching plan. I'll be hanging out with Asokwa James. Asokwa, good evening, welcome. Good evening. And I haven't seen Benga Onichilo, so here's the returning Benga. I greet you, Benga. How do you do?
Great to be here again.
All right then, so the team is ready. I hope you are. All right then, with 24 hours to go to the APC National Convention tomorrow in the nation's capital, Abuja, the path appears paved for Edo State former Governor Adams Oshomole in the race for the national chairmanship of the ruling party. Now, former Cross River Governor and last hurdle in the way, Dr. Clement Ebri, withdrew from the chase because, in his words, let me quote him, "I deserve to ensure a rancor-free convention." End quote. Coming barely 24 hours after another contender and a former Edo governor, Professor Osumbo, dropped from the contention, the move means former comrade Governor Oshomole has become an agreement or consensus candidate. Asokwa, horse trading.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear it's the name of the game.
Well, it's true, but for Oshomole's own, it's like it was a forgotten issue, particularly when the president actually backed him and said, "Okay, you guys have to go for Oshomole," you know, and immediately you can see that the tide actually swung towards him, and everybody was just saying, "It's Oshomole, it's Oshomole, it's Oshomole."
We have a little clip to share with you, but then let me sound Benga out.
I will have, is probably, if it's within the constitution of the party to go in the way of consensus candidates, well, so be it. But I will have loved the situation where it can actually test the weight of its popularity and the strength of its acceptance in that party with all that is going along the party.
You'd better be a politician, but I'm told in the business. All right, let's quickly take this, share this with you.
We were here yesterday and we're here again. So we want to ensure that we have a very perfect venue for the convention. When it comes to politics like this, you wait until the last moment. So at this period, what we are advising and appealing is consensus, the spirit of consensus. At the end of the day, by tomorrow, you will see who and who are contesting. Or towards the end of the day, today, many people perhaps may step down and leave some candidates unopposed.
Are you envisaging some people walking out on the party? Are you envisaging some people leaving the party?
No, that one, not at all, as far as I'm concerned. Because we had meetings, we've been having our meetings, Governors Forum. Yesterday we had a meeting, this morning we left this morning. And so there was no quarrel, and we are hoping that when we come to the election, all we are doing is still appealing that there must be consensus because the list of aspirants are so many. And by the time you get to a point where you conclude, the rest is election. So whoever wants to contest election will contest his election. And ours is to ensure that there is a hitch-free election.
So you heard it, consensus, candidacy, or horse trading. Don't forget about 22 offices up for grabs, and a great many of them are consensus candidates. Okay, but then, for me, an election is a process. It's a means to an end. But in our Africa, elections over time was made to be the end in itself. So the process is what I'm concerned about. Let it be free, fair, for everyone to see.
Yeah, I want to believe that the committee, they are going to make sure that the election, the convention will go on smoothly, because like we are saying, the consensus is in the APC constitution. You know, you can go for consensus candidate. That is if they agree. I know as at an hour ago, it's only Adams Oshom, the national chairmanship, that is safe. You know, that is Oshomole that is safe. The other 42 positions is still up for grabs. Everybody still want to contest. And I know that for the National Publicity Secretary alone, they have close to 3 or 4. The organizing secretary position, they have about 5, and all of them in one state, which is Imo State.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so if you look at it,
so that, you know, that has to be do with zoning.
Zoning, you know. Okay. So if they zone it to that particular state, and they all agree that, okay, one person has to come, you know, from either from any of the contestants, it's consensus, so be it. You know, so be it. But as it stands today, I'm not sure the publicity secretary, any of them want to step down. I'm not sure even the organizing secretary, the position for any of them want to also step down, because they want to go to that contest. Like the publicity secretary, the former one, which is Bolaji Abdullahi, who happens to be from the NPDP, you know. So many people have been saying he seems to have a grasp of the job, and the others, you know. So there are so many politics that will be playing tomorrow. So we just want to see, what I would love is, rather than going into this consensus thing, let us go straight into the field and make sure that everybody faces.
He has mentioned NPDP, and before now, in the build-up to the convention, people had thought the NPDP was going to be the Achilles heel for the party, but the leader of the team, Abubakar Baraje, says, look, we are all for an open convention. So no friction at the end of the day.
Well, that is what is being said. But you know, in our parts of the world, everything seems a bit clandestine. All you hear is spokespeople come out and tell us all that is happening, and where you have a whole lot of, when you have the issue of zoning is one of the major albatross in our democracy. It doesn't always bring out the best to the field to play, and it gives room for a lot of horse trading. At times you might say maybe money is changing hands, or so it doesn't really bring out the real tenets of democracy in itself, where you can actually test the popularity of people and test the acceptance.
Zoning, aka turn by turn.
Turn by turn. Those are the things that lead to people exiting party or moving from one party to the other, or the kind of what do you call dual congresses you have all over the nation. So I think it's high time our democracy evolves in such a way that we allow people to really test their weight and let people see transparency and some level of accountability, not a particular power block or establishment determining who comes for certain positions.
Still with you, Benga, quickly. The consensus of opinion now is that Adams Oshomole, or Comrade Oshomole, is likely to bring sanity back to the party.
I think they are just postulations.
Okay.
For me, they are just postulations, and you'll never know how that, because they are a bit on a steepy slope. Because the people behind bringing Oshomole in, you never know which part of the divide is against those in the other camps that want him in. You still have the threat of the NPDP that feel they have been marginalized or disenfranchised. How is he going to bring that into one of the BC Akonde group or the president's group?
But you are ingeniously leaving out the word consensus. Look at the Adams Oshomole persona, you know, vis-a-vis.
Just like Gwenga said, yes, we know that some people might be backing him, But he has that persona, as you say, of being a mobilizer, of being somebody who can, you know, apart, everybody knows that Adams Oshiomhole was a labor leader. And we saw what he did during his time as a labor leader. And even when he was governor. He might have his weaknesses, you know. But,
everybody has.
You know, which everybody has. But in terms of uniting the party, which I think that is where...
That's the key.
That is the key thing. Becoming the national chairman and trying to unite all the factions. Because the Congress is, whether he likes it or he doesn't, all the states, APC states, they have one issue or the other. Yeah. So the first thing he needs to do, what we should be looking at is after the convention, the post-convention. Yeah. Will Oshiomhole be able to unite everybody? Will he be able to unite the factions that are in Kanu, the factions in Kaduna, the factions in Adamawa,
Lagos.
Even in Lagos, you know? So he has his work cut out for him. Will you be able to bring all these people to the round table and for all of them to agree to his own terms? Because right now, he's going to be the leader of the party. Yeah. Yes, the president might be there, because now the president is now seeing himself as anything, go to the party. So it means that all the decisions, all the negotiation will now be left on his own table.
Good. Benga, we can hold on to that thread. Mr. President says, my friend, the party has a leadership. Go take you back to the Second Republic, when you had 5 major parties, and the chairmen of those parties were the key big boys, not the governors, not the president, and so on. So, but in this republic, it's not the same.
Yeah. If you really look at it very well, the first question you ask yourself, who are the financiers of the party? The governors. The governors have evolved into a major power block in party politics in Nigeria. And even if you become the chairman of the party and you are not playing to the interest of the same governors that fund the party, or people, maybe the legislatures as well, that control the constituencies, it becomes a major challenge. Also, whether you like it or not, the president has interests. Because he also has a power block. So for us to be saying, for the president to be saying, he's just being smart with a tongue in the cheek by saying, take everything to the party. He already endorsed Oshiomhole. And there is no way the endorsement he has given that Oshiomhole will not want to pay back in one way or the other. So that's why I keep saying, consensus is a very steep slope. It's a thin line. So if things are really tested by people's popularity or acceptance within the party, then I think you can begin to evolve. We can begin to call themselves true Democrats, and people see the transparency of leadership.
Gentlemen, let me use a tired phrase. All roads lead to Abuja tomorrow. But then ahead of the big event tomorrow is a man, Ayo Ozugbakun. He's there to cover the convention. Ayo, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Jones.
How do you do?
Very well.
Yeah, what can you report?
Yeah, we're counting down to the convention, and everything is set. We just left the venue now. We had to park our outside broadcast van outside the venue because the security in and out of the venue very, very tight. And subcommittees are meeting, and a lot of people are putting things together. But beyond what is happening in the venue, what is happening at the practice secretariat, what is happening in Imo House, the horse trading within the governors is the big deal now. They are trying last minute give and take, last minute negotiation, who is going to vie for this position, who should step down for who, how to compensate this person. So just to make sure that tomorrow the exercise, this is like a dress rehearsal for what will happen tomorrow. Tomorrow might just end up being a kind of affirmation.
Yeah, it does appear that the chairmanship is one big, picture we are looking at. There must be other ones.
Yes, there are other ones. There are 42 other ones, and those 42, as at the last count out of the screening committee said they've screened 164 people for the 42 positions. And if they have to go with the 164 people for the election tomorrow, they are seeing some difficulties there. What they are trying to do is to try to prune down the number of people that will come out for each of these positions, and where consensus can be reached, they reach consensus so that to minimize the acrimony that has to do with, election proper.
I know you have a very big nose. That's not derogatory. I'm saying you have a nose for news. What are you sniffing? Ayo.
John, can you come again?
Okay, I know you have a very big nose for news. So what are you sniffing around Abuja?
Yeah. There are talks about the new PDP leaving the party tomorrow. There are talks about them staging a walkout. And Kaubaraje said it earlier that they are going to attend the convention. And if they are attending the convention, but there are talks that they might be staging a walkout tomorrow. There are talks about agreed National Assembly members actually leaving the party tomorrow. So we're waiting till tomorrow to be able to substantiate all these talks. But one thing that is sure is that all is not well within the rank and file of the All Progressive Congress. So tomorrow's convention is the make or mar case for the All Progressive Congress, and it's going to go a long way to determine the future of that party.
We wish you very well. Please, if there's anything new, please don't hesitate to share it with us. Thank you. Yeah, gentlemen, so it's a saturated atmosphere in Abuja. You expect it, Benga?
Yeah. I used to say that APC initially was an SPV. It wasn't. It was special purpose vehicle with the purpose of having a coalition to usurp power from PDP.
I would have thought it was a utility vehicle.
So gradually now, there are the points they are about to evolve into a real political party.
Okay.
That's the point that they are now. It's a very steep slope. Like what Ayo said, that the MPDP are saying they might stage, which is be a function of the consensus discussions going on, the horse trading going on. What are you going to concede to us? What mileage are you going to give to us? So there are that steep slope at the moment, which might, and we're in the election year, which might bring about a major potent threat to the APC at this point in time. So I just hope they can find common ground to mitigate this kind of threat.
Asoko, after listening to his sermon at the table, I know that in politics, stupidity, I say it for the umpteenth time, according to the great Napoleon Bonaparte, in politics, stupidity is not a weakness.
Definitely.
They make you believe all hell is going to be let loose.
Of course, because that is one of the things that I'm also suspecting. Yes, the MPDP might, be having these grievances. And that is what everybody's thinking. That there might be that they might stage the walkout. But in politics, 1 minute in politics is very important.
It's like, yes.
Very, very important.
It's a long time, yeah.
So it means it can happen that, Ayo has finished with us. In the next couple of hours,
something could.
Another negotiation will take place. And even the congresses that we are thinking that it was all over, things will just, even the delegates themselves will just find out that
and we have 6,800 of
6,800. And you know that the committee will start scrutinizing, looking at the numbers, the names of the delegates that will be going, because they are all going to all the points. They have different points, And the so-called MPDP guys can be assuaged.
Are they so-called?
Okay.
They're not so-called.
See, listen, the thing is, I keep saying this. When the APC was about to be formed, we had the CPC, we had the ACN, and we had the
Splinter group of the ABGA.
And these three major parties, these big parties, actually dropped their certificates for them to form the APC. And then a splinter group of ABGA, and then this PDP. What did they put on the table? Nothing. They just came with their own men, came with their own supporters.
They
didn't drop
put anything on the table.
If you look at it, the only thing they dropped was just their supporters.
No.
So that is what
that's
I
an
keep
assumption.
saying. It's not assumption. If you look at it.
Okay. We can't quarrel here. The Congress is not taking place here. But Dare is somewhere in Kaduna State. He's reaching us. Dare, I greet you. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to agree with one of your panelists. You see, if the president had wanted to turn everything to the party, he would have just allowed the party to choose candidates they want. He should have shown interest. Showing interest means other members who are nothing the ambition to become the chairman of the party, you have automatically killed their ambition. So they, on their own part, they will feel aggrieved. You would have leave a very open field for everybody to go and test its popularity to know who actually wants to be the chairman of the party. But since he has shown his interest, I think other parties they will feel aggrieved. And like you said, the APC is at a crossroad now. If they don't get it right at this convention, then that might be the end of that association.
Okay.
That's just my statement.
Dave, do me a little favor. Oh, okay, he's gone. Yeah,
It echoes my thoughts absolutely.
Okay.
It's a critical turning point for them. What happens, like you rightly said, the president bringing his weight behind Oshiomhole and endorsing him. Nobody wants to be on the wrong side.
Which is not, it is not a crime here.
Yes, it's not.
It's playing politics.
That is the president's choice.
I understand what you're saying.
That's the president's choice.
No. I understand what you're saying. But in a truly driven democratic process, where we don't talk about things like zoning, where we don't talk about consensus, you test your weight. You test your weight. Because even if you want to do that... We are said
to be a nascent democracy, please.
For how long?
We have moved away from
please, we are still learning. How do you bury this quickly?
Well, I just want to believe that I want the APC, let me use that word, I want the APC to surprise us tomorrow.
Okay.
There have been so many speculations, there have been so many fears and concerns. Let them surprise us tomorrow.
Okay.
We don't want to see a walkout tomorrow. That is my own. That is what I want to believe. That,
okay then.
Shouldn't be a walkout
it can only get better. We must pass this over now. But not before telling you that according to the late Prime Minister of the UK, Winston Churchill, he said, in war you are killed once, in politics you are killed many times. So we wait till tomorrow. Now still to come, DSS arrest Boko Haram and ISWA kingpins in Abuja. You want to stay with us? Okay then, welcome back. I hear Nigeria are leading 1-0 in Russia. I hope it stays that way. But Benga and Asoko are telling me it's a 90-minute affair. No problem. No problem. We'll have time to broach the subject matter later on. Now, the news first broke out over the infiltration of Islamic State in West Africa when it broke out in a London tabloid last week, and the reaction was torn between curiosity and alarm. The reported arrest of some kingpins of the sect members and those of the Boko Haram terror gang appears to remove any doubt about the story. So both Bashiru Adams and Rufai Sajo were nabbed by men of the DSS at a cell in Kakuntu village at Gwagwalada in the FCT not so long ago. So some members of the Basalube kidnap gang were unearthed as well, also in the FCT area. So a frightening cache of arms and assault rifles were recovered from them. Never too late to deal with the Frankenstein, Asukwo. Never too late.
Jones, I think I'm really bothered about this story. I know, I think it was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, that the British tabloid actually revealed that.
So the report must be taken seriously.
Yes, exactly. That ISIS were making inroads into Nigeria, training terrorists and taking them back to London, you know. And we know the Nigerian army and so many other the security agencies, we are trying to see if it's true or not. But with this arrest, you can see that the tabloid actually did a good work. They've given us an hint, whether it is ISIS or ISWAP.
Asuko, it's also because of their interest in the story.
Yeah, no,
they are involved.
Yes, because they're involved. If not, the thing is, like there was a particular time, like this cache of arms that had been found. I know there was a time the customs displayed so many, the cache of arms from, I think last year or so. After the display, we've not heard anything. Who owns the arms? Who has been prosecuted? Nothing. You understand? So eventually, the next thing we are seeing now is that kidnappers are being found with arms that are like this. Then who do you blame? You have to still blame the government, because Nigerians need to know if we are secured. If we are not secured, then it means that the government is failing in terms of security. Because if you look at it, every time the DSS, the police, the army parade, or they say, okay, that they are, you know, arresting and kidnappers or whoever, they display these things to us. And eventually, these things, that these arms that are being displayed, are found again in the hands of. So it means that the whole, if we now start to do a round check around Nigeria, the light arms in Nigeria will be something else.
Benga, a group captain Isaac Sabi of the Nigerian Air Force shared some intelligence regarding, and he should know, because close to 20 years now he's been involved in insurgency business in Africa. He says the insurgents are trained in Yemen and some others in Syria. So we are up against a monster, a frightening monster.
It's more of an international thing, because over the time you've seen that ISIS, Al-Qaeda have been having some level of relationship or fraternization with Boko Haram across the Sahel, in terms of providing funding, in terms of providing training, in terms of providing ammunition as well. So which the British tabloid that released it, I'm sure they will have gotten intelligence from their own secret service as well, for them to be able to push that kind of information into the Nigerian authorities. We must still applaud the Nigeria DSS for being able to rise up to the challenge. And but the challenge I have is we are always playing catch up. These people seem to always be miles ahead of us, which shows one thing: we need international collaboration to really deal with this monster of insurgency. And we need our people trained in the art of managing insurgency. It has gone beyond using brute military force.
Perhaps this information will help. Brigadier Charles Calder, you know, is the British Defense Advisor in Nigeria, has said if it is not checked. And of course, now we know that Britain has some 150 troops helping the Nigerian counterparts, and 35,000 Nigerian soldiers involved in counterinsurgency training, and so which I think is a plus. Because if they attack Nigeria, British interests.
They have a lot of interest there. America has a lot of interest. The British, most of the Schengen countries, so European countries. So it pays them. But we must now step up our own game, going beyond whether party lines, we go beyond politics. Because the beauty about democracy in a place like America is when it comes to the security and welfare of the people, everybody stays in one boat. Until we have our politicians staying in one boat when there is a major threat against the nation, I don't think we can win the war against insurgency, because you start having people trading blames, even among the security agencies. There is no alliance, proper coordination.
And I feel a pain in the heart that Boko Haram started like a child's play in 2002, and we did nothing about it.
It has been the same trend.
This is not about a blame game.
No, it's not about a blame game. It started here. We started it with our hands. These were boys that are being used to win elections. After you win election, you leave them with arms, nothing to do, and they now evolve into something else that we cannot contain. And part of the anomalies that lead to young men carrying arms, unemployment, poverty, lack of social security and welfare, as we deal with this insurgency, working against security, we need also to deal with these fundamental problems that lead to people being recruited, ideology being, and the issue of religion. I think we need to, the government needs to pull its weight around religion, but we don't have the will to do that because we want to win votes for election. Religion is a major issue we need to address. When you see religious leaders coming and coming and speaking because of politics, instead of them to come and speak in the interest of the... If Nigeria does not exist, you can't have the church and the mosque having effective service and worship.
Exactly.
Asukwa, in America, in the United Kingdom, they don't talk about the Republican or the Democratic Party answers to national palaver. Here, we cannot afford to talk about... your country has scored a second goal. Benga, now you are sobering down.
No, I'm not sobering down. It's still 90 minutes.
Come. Okay then. Oh, come on. Two goals in the kitchen.
It's still 90 minutes.
All right. So I'm saying we are not talking about a PDP or APC or BBC or VOA answers to our problems. The wahala we are facing is a collective one.
Yes.
So politics must go to the back burner.
But you know, politicians play politics with everything.
But not when it comes to women life.
When once it comes to women, they will still play politics. Because even yesterday, we are still discussing something about, what is this man's name? The former Benue State governor. Yeah. You know, because people are saying that he was involved in the killings in Benue and all that. That is a politician being arrested. Now,
but you recall that, I think last year.
Yes, but the thing is, what will he gain? I'm not speaking for him, but I'm just looking at, okay, if he's a politician, what will he gain for him to kill his people? You understand? And then it has been going on and on and on and on consistently. So
because he has a lot of interest in that state.
Just one man doing the killings.
You know, but then, everyone, sometimes we need to interrogate our past.
We know, but Jones, what I'm even saying is that it is not everything. You're saying something about politics. Once it comes to human life, let's not politicize it. Let's not even bring ethnicity. Let's not bring religion into it. Because once we bring religion and ethnicity into it, we trivialize the issue. We even trivialize human lives. And it is...
Benga, when we talk about extremists being smuggled through our porous borders, it makes you wonder. Some would ask, how did we get here? And cynics have this answer: we got here by road.
Yeah, you know, there is this thing about even the converted. They said the converted Boko Haram. Some of them now. Who defines if they are converted? Is it the military that defines? Oh, I've never heard of that.
No. The military side, they
radicalized.
The radicalized.
And these are people that still live within the society.
But nobody says you cannot debrief an extremist.
You can't debrief. But I have a concern with that. So what are we... The issue is this. Those ones that you say you have been radicalized, how much of information have you been able to gather to use to counter quite a whole lot of things happening? Then also the issue of our borders. When you have our customs on the highways, looking for people with rice in their boots, and you begin to ask yourself, have we relocated, is the Ministry of Works and Housing relocated our borders to the highways? So our borders are still porous. And you see some of the...
And a long time coming.
Yeah, exactly. And a country without a secured border is not a safe country. And that's what Trump, you can see people like Trump.
We are seeing some footage. Look at the arms recovered and so on.
So the thing is this. If we don't have a situation where borders are secured, and just some days, was it last week that they were saying over 300 people from were discovered by INEC not to be Nigerians with PVC and all those kind of things. So these are threats to security. So which means you definitely have some people carrying PVC or Nigerian passports. They are not Nigerians.
Exactly.
So we have a porous border. And we need to invest more on the issue of this, not just on the military might, in terms of internal security. And if we don't have an effective policing system, our police, you need a minimum of $1 million.
And intel reports and so on.
Interagency. You even need a minimum of $1 million or 1.5 or 2 million policemen to be effective. Yeah. Nigeria, as long as you even have policemen living on barracks, we cannot police this country. Policemen living on barracks, something that was a colonial concept, is what we are still retaining in the 21st century. Come on.
I hear we must bury this.
I just want to add to what Gbenga said. I think technology also has to come into this, because the world has gone from the archaic way of policing and even manning borders to technology. So we have to spend in security. And we know that it's not just about having men, because sometimes they say, the president will say, let's employ more policemen.
Which human power?
You know, so by the time they now bring more,
you don't have money like America to build a wall.
No, if we don't have, let's invest in technology, because there are so many technologies that we can use.
If you're going to invest in technology, which human capital? Have you empowered them? Have you trained them?
They will bring the people that are bringing it.
The intelligence community able to attract the right.
That are bringing the technology, we also train the police officers.
No, but can you attract the right kind of people to even be in the Nigerian police?
Then we must pass over now. But let the debate continue. And you must be reminded of this. War is politics with bloodshed. Politics is politics without bloodshed. But we are mixing it up now.
We have turned it around.
Which is crazy.
It's politics and blood.
Okay, and 2 goals in the bag. All right, but then ranching of cattle or sheep, as the case may be, has come to be accepted as the way to go globally, as opposed to open grazing. The federal government, in good wisdom, we believe, had only recently designated 10 states of the country where pilot ranches would be sited. Ebonyi State is listed as one of them, or one of the 10. But then the leadership in that state is not persuaded that the idea suits its jurisdiction, more so as it was not consulted before the decision was taken. Ebonyi Agriculture Commissioner Barrister Ikechukwu Nwobo let it be known that not only were its people predominantly farmers, the state has no land for ranching or grazing. Asoko, what are we saying here?
It's quite funny, because I know the Ebonyi State Governor is part of the subcommittee that was set up by the federal government to look into all these matters about grazing.
So he's a concerned party.
You know, so he is concerned. So coming out,
if you like, an interested party.
Exactly. He's even the chairman of that subcommittee. So coming back to now say that the state rejects. Yes, maybe is I won't call it an afterthought. He went back to his people. Because what we are hearing now is that maybe the federal government hurriedly, let me assume, they hurriedly, brought out those states. And so, okay, this is the number of, say, the 10 states that will be, involved in the pilot scheme and all that, without allowing the state governors to go back to their people to ask, do we have this land to give for this ranching or for this pilot project? And are we going to even bring out money? Are we going to bring out money for us to, to be involved in this pilot scheme? Because that is how it looks now.
I get the impression another goal has been scored.
No, I think a penalty that was awarded and all that. They lost the penalty. So if
Iceland has lost the penalty.
So if you look at it, what Ebonyi,
let them not repeat the penalty. But go on, go on.
What it means is that there will have to be wide consultations before this pilot scheme of this magnitude has to be, carried out. Because so many people will not like, ranch or ranches to be built in their own community when they've not been consulted. We know that the federal government has all the land, but they have to consult the people before.
Let me take Gbenga's mind a little away from the subject matter and look at a low-hanging fruit. This fruit has been there over time. In fact, since 1978, when the vexatious land use decree came. Yeah. Today, 2018, land is still vested in government, federal, state. And we talk about citizenship, settlership, indigenship. These matters have not been
resolved by even by the Constitution itself. It's not fully interpreted even up to the level of the Supreme Court. And you still have quite a lot of things on the exclusive list of the federal government, and which is where we find ourselves in the situation of Ebonyi State. And it's still more of a command and control way of doing things, where the interest of the real indigents are not put as state first.
Who owns the land?
That's the question. Because at the end of the day, when you trace it, you'll see traces to people. The indigents at the end of the day own the land. But now, with our constitution, we've been able to put powers. Okay, the state owns the land, but the federal government owns what is under. So many complications in the country. So the issue is this. These guys have come. Every state should be able to decide for itself.
Exactly.
Whether they want the ranching policy to stay or not. And you know, part of the challenge I have with the ranching policy is this. We've not seen the full details of it to be able to say, okay, will the ranches only be for the herdsmen that move from one place to the other, or anybody within a particular community can also say, okay, I want to set up my own ranch within. So a whole lot of things, and the optics in an election year is like, is it just to score a political point that we're aiming after? Is the interest, and because people are a bit unsteady now. There is even a group.
After all, the election, the voting, the business democracy does not end on the election day.
It doesn't end on election day. Yeah. Even there are some groups in Benue State right now that are even canvassing against ranching. You know, Benue is one of the states. There's a group in that state, about 2 or 3 groups that have come together and said they don't want the policy even effected in their states. So there are a whole lot, which means...
And when you hear something like it's a ploy to take the land from the people, you're wondering...
Who owns the land, really? So that's why they're balancing between ownership of land, like you said, citizenship, or settlership, indigenship. So there are quite a lot of quagmire in the words of this guy, a lot of things that are still unsettled that we need to still unravel. The issue of the ranching. Now, I think the government keeps falling into the hands of people. As in, when people want an interest to be pushed in their favor, they come with such all form of agitation. And what we do is we throw money. So look at the issue of the Niger Delta militants. The same thing, we came up with amnesty. We seem to always come up with a short-term solution for a long time. So the moment, after some time, you start hearing people in the agricultural sector, people in poultry, agitation will start coming up. And how many people are governments going to bail out or create a kind of sucker for like ranching?
Yeah, even when the issue came up, I said it's like another amnesty to some.
It's a form of amnesty.
So because if you look at it, it's 179 billion naira. Okay, the private investors will come with 100, then the state 79. Like you said, how often is this money going to be pumped out? And who is going to pump out the money? Is it going to be from the federal government? Is it going to come from the state government? You know, they need to draw up that plan.
Constitutes the private partnership.
The private partnership, you understand? Is it going to just be those who are involved in cattle rearing alone, or is it just going to be?
Is it just going to be the herdsmen only, or people within every community can come up as well? Or is it
just going to be the community itself? Will they also be involved in the business, or will they even allow them to even be involved in the business? If not, it's just going to be another Niger Delta issue of you are collecting our oil and then they don't even have oil blocks. You understand? So the government needs to allow us know all the nitty-gritties that are involved in it.
But why, by the way, I hear ranching is the way to go. So, but why would Miyetti Allah not be disposed to ranching?
So that's another challenge. They're saying there's some breed of cattle that still need to be moved around before. So in the 21st century,
only in Nigeria.
Only in Nigeria, we must put political and ethnic coloration into everything just to hold the country down. And like I said earlier, our government seems not to have the will to do what it ought to do because of what? Votes. Because it's an election year. Because people must gather votes and you must create an impression. Because the moment we go beyond, like I said, if, for example, if a governor is thinking beyond, he's not thinking about second time, is not at the point of his, in his head, you will do what needs to be done.
Of course.
Damn the consequence, and posterity will judge who has done well or not. So that's where we find ourselves. If Mieti Allah as an organization is now coming to say, no, we are not well disposed towards it, when even a state passed a law through their state assembly, signing into law, and Mieti Allah is still saying they are not, and they were part of the committees for some of these engagements. They were part of the stakeholders. So it's pretty a complex.
Even the minister was even against it.
Yeah, so where do we go from here?
Minister of Defense.
Yes, he was against it.
Where do we go from here?
I think we need more consultation. The government should not just leave it open. The government needs, for Ebonyi, that happens to be a key state in this whole thing, it means that coming out to come and reject what the government has already put on ground, it means that there's so many issues that are
Thank you, Asokwa. Thank you. At this table, what we do is provoke the debate, allow you to have a go at it. The debate continues. Ranching in 10 states of the country on a pilot basis, to be or not to be. Now, the match in Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad, is coming in, I think we are in the home straight. I don't know how old the match is now.
Yeah.
Nearing an end.
Nigeria, 75 minutes.
75, so 15 minutes. 90 minutes, I understand.
90 minutes.
So,
90.
and it is still 2-0. Look, Senate President, hold it, Dr. Bukola Saraki, PEMSEC Minister of Sports and Youth and Sports, Olushola Adeshola, IOC member Habu Gumel, NFF officials, and so on, Amaju Pinnick, President, are all at the stadium. No distractions, thankfully.
Well, I'm happy that we've been able to score the goals that were scored.
And you heard what I said, for the officials.
But the sad part for me, the sad part for me is that we don't need their presence there. Exactly. That's a wasteful spend of taxpayers' money.
That make them win.
No, it's wastefulness.
Okay.
Because each one of them that go there goes with the entourage, goes with the aids, go with Estaco. Those are funds that you can pump into other things within the economy. They don't need to be there. Even the NFF chairman does not need to be there. It's only the people that constitute to helping the team to work directly and effectively for a successful competition are supposed to be there.
But we must beg Croatia to help us here.
That's what we always come to, mathematics.
But we have got to that stage.
When it comes to Nigeria, what I noticed is
you know what the begging will be about?
I know.
Slow Argentina down.
You lose.
Well, when it comes to Nigeria issue, whenever we just carry calculator and begin to, so wins. And if
that's not the way to build anything.
No. The NFF why the NFF president is there, maybe because he's an executive member of NFF.
You didn't believe the pig?
No, I don't believe in all those.
Anything.
No.
Okay.
Everything. I believe in hard work.
Okay.
Strategy.
And strategy. And what I've even noticed in this World Cup is that so many teams have been coming. And we will have surprises in this World Cup. So many teams.
The big boys have disappointed.
Yes, they're disappointed. Because the way we are thinking, this is how Brazil will play, is different. Because those Brazil of those years is different from Brazil of now. Same with Nigeria.
Football has evolved.
But we are not even.
Brazil recorded a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
after 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, that is when they scored.
And so on.
And look at France with Peru yesterday. They struggled to score just one goal.
See Mexico against Germany.
Yeah.
The defending champion, they beat the defending champion 1-0. So you can see that so many countries are looking at, okay, what is making, what were we now doing that we have to do now? And that is what we should be thinking of.
We must not say this with prejudice to big boys like Ronaldo, living up to the billing, pre-World Cup.
Yeah,
billing.
Look, I've always said people, like today I posted on my Facebook that Iceland is going to win. I'm just being cynical. A lot of people were calling for my prophet of doom and all that. I was just analyzing the strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly.
So the thing is this, every nation that you see performing well at the World Cup, they develop their domestic league.
Yeah.
That is where the youth academy, the domestic league, that is where people evolved from. Even the one that went outside of the country. They were people like Kante from, they started their football from the academy in France before moving to a place like UK. So if we don't, we will have no way of feeding a team. If you look at this team, there is nobody exceptional. There is nobody that can rise up to the challenge and pick up the team. Like a Ronaldo in the days of JJ Okocha, Kanu will come into the field, look at the game, and read the game and turn it around.
The beautiful ones are gone?
No. They came from the local league. All those guys came from even our local league. Before they even went international.
Yes, the Finidi George of this one, they are all in the local
But you know
league.
the challenge right now, even within the local league, you have a lot of corruption going on that the real people that are supposed to emerge and move on can't because there are a lot of money exchanging hands.
You don't want me to recall that Calabar Rovers had to be beaten by 13 goals to nothing. So Aqua United would remain in the Premiership. And this is no game.
So
it's part of the corruption we are talking about. We have to develop our local leagues because if you look at this World Cup, there is no single local player, home base, in quotes, in this World Cup. And that is to tell you that it means that even the league itself is not doing well. Because if the league were to be doing well, at least they will have one player from the local team, local league, that will be going to this World Cup. And that will even boost the morale of other players.
I wouldn't really say that. During the time of Keshi had people monitoring.
I hear we have a local
domestic.
player, just one.
No, we have a local player.
On the bench.
On the bench.
Yeah, but look at what they play against Atletico Madrid. The home-based players, look at what they played against.
Benga, please, it was not a must-win game. Please. Don't do this to us.
But really, if our football is really going to develop, there's one albatross we must deal with, the Decree 101.
Oh yeah, remove it.
If we can't remove Decree 101 and allow the full participation of the private sector that brings in funding, that brings in collaboration and alliances, that government still has to be the one to push their own candidates in, put funding in for football to. It's not going to happen. What will keep happening is just flashes of brilliance, and then Nigerians go to depression again.
Record this in your diary.
Yeah.
June 22nd, 2018, Nigeria won a game at the World Cup. Okay.
Nigeria won
a game at the World Cup.
Yeah. Asupo James, many thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your weekend.
I need to.
Benga Onitilo, many thanks.
Yeah, Nigeria won today.
Change what you have on your...
But don't listen to the pig.
Yes,
don't believe the pig.
Don't believe the pig.
The pig is dead. All right, that's it on the program for today and this week. Join us next week for another episode. But then, watch the game is over, I'm told, and so 3 points in the kitty. But the begging will still go to Croatia, deal with Argentina. No.
They have to beat Iceland.
Beat Iceland.
Ahmed Musa scored both goals.
Yes, Ahmed Musa.
Who you wrote off. All right, a repeat broadcast of this program is built for 11 this evening, and of course you can watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. I must go for my beer. Good evening.